What's up? What's up? What's up, you guys? What's up? What's up? What's up, Facebook fam? It is Tuesday, and you know what goes down here on Tuesday? Wife Life and Wife Chat goes down here on Tuesday on Facebook. So do me a favor, make sure that you're hitting the share button, letting all my one sexy wives know that I'm live. And again, thank you guys so much for joining me here on Wife Chat. I am super excited about this topic that we're going to talk about, and we're going to talk about the love languages. And as you guys know that, Gary Chapman wrote the thing. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for joining me. Make sure that you're hitting the share button, letting all my one sexy wife know that Wife Chat is going down here tonight. And tonight we're going to be talking about love languages. And this came from a new bride that's only been married 1 month. And she hit me up on Instagram, and she was really concerned that her and her husband speak 2 different love languages. And she's really concerned that they're not connecting the way that they should. And so I wanted to talk about, it's okay to have different love languages, but how to really make your marriage work when you have 2 different love languages. And 90% of us have different love languages. It's just learning the love, learning how to have conversations and stuff about it. And again, you guys, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for hitting the share button. I truly appreciate it. And so tonight we're going to talk about help me and my spouse speak 2 different love languages. And again, this came from an amazing young lady that just got married, and I welcomed her in to this marriage rim, this wife life journey, right? And she's only been married 1 month. And I told her, I thank her so much for reaching out to me. She said she's been watching me for the last year, and she just loves what I do. So I appreciate you guys following me. I appreciate you guys reaching out when you need help. That is my life work. I want to see you guys win in your marriages, because I know what it is to struggle in my marriage. On July the 20th, I'll be married 33 years, which is most of my life. And so I understand what it is. And again, you guys, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for hitting the share button. And so we're going to help this young lady out when it comes to different love languages. I did not get the opportunity to speak with her. Like I said, she DM'd me on Instagram and was just really concerned, is it going to put a damper on their marriage that they speak in 2 different love languages? And I told her, absolutely not. I'm getting ready to play my little promo, and I will be back on here to teach you guys how to deal, even if you've been married 15, 20, 30 years, with different love languages and how to make it work. And so again, thank you guys so much for joining me. So, if you guys have been around, you've at least heard of the book, The 5 Love Languages. And about 2 years ago now, maybe 3 years ago now, I had the pleasure of sitting down and talking to Dr. Chapman. And we were talking about the work that I do and the love languages and whatever. And during my time of talking with him and just really, kind of sitting at his feet and, just giving him my perspective, I uncovered after I left the conversation, and then I wrote him back, and we would DM back and forth about where these love languages are really developed. And I believe that your love language is really developed in your childhood, and it has to do about how you was raised and how you navigate that, right? And for me, I was raised with a really strong mother who worked a lot. And so my mother was a woman of affirmation. Her thing was that you can do absolutely anything, Gail. You can accomplish anything. And that's what she told me and my brothers. You can accomplish anything, right? And then she would reward us with gifts and stuff like that, because she didn't really have a lot of time to do a whole bunch of stuff, right? She was there at the PTA meetings and stuff like that, but she wasn't at home baking cookies and bringing, so she would go to the store and buy them and stuff like that. And so as I began to grow up and got into my marriage, I realized that my love language is words of affirmation and gifts, right? And so on the flip side, I married somebody that his mom was a stay-at-home mom, and his mom was a very affectionate, loving woman that hugged on them all the time and was able to cook for them and do all of those different kind of things, right? And so I married a man that his love language is quality time and affection, physical touch. And so as I go through this, I just kind of want you to look at how you was raised and how you think your love language is. And if you have not taken the test, you have done yourself a disservice. So I really think that you should really take the 5 love language test. You can just Google it. It's absolutely free. And I will put it also in the chat box as well. But the 5 love languages is acts of service, physical touch, giving of gifts, words of affirmation, and quality time, right? And you can float between all of these ones, but mainly you usually have 2 dominant love languages. And again, I'm teaching on can my marriage work if we have 2 different love languages. And this is coming from a young lady in Dallas that's only been married a month, and she's really worried that her and her husband are on 2 different pages when it comes to their love language, right? So let me give you some tools and strategies, and this can work from where you are right now. After being married 33 years, Gail and I have 2 different love languages. And even though I do this every single day, we have to readjust, because as we have matured, our love languages and our needs and our wants have changed, right? But the dominant 2 for me are still the strongest, which is words of affirmation and giving of gifts, right? And like I said, it stems from my childhood, where my husband's is physical touch and quality time, right? And those are the things that his mother was able to give him, right? Not that my mother didn't love me anymore, but that's how she rewarded me. So those are my 2 dominant, and those are his 2 dominant. Can I sway and go in different directions? Absolutely, and everybody can. So the first thing is get to know your spouse's love language, right? Start by paying attention. If you have a spouse that won't take the love language test, because some men like, I'm not interested in that, I'm just not going to do that. You got to hone in and really pay attention to it, because even though I had taken the love languages years ago, Gilbert just took it 3 years ago, or whenever I met Dr. Chapman, right, and had a conversation with him. But I had honed in to what he needed and he wanted, right? And so just start paying attention to what your spouse does and what they say, right? And when they're most happiest, right? And it could be that they're the most happiest when you got your head in their lap and you guys are watching TV. Or it could be that he's the most happiest when you are serving him his dinner, while he's sitting down or whatever. He could be the most happiest when you're rubbing on his head or giving him a massage, right? All of those things are clues, if they won't take the test, right? In order for you to start honing in into your spouse's love language, right? Because a marriage can survive if you are on 2 different spectrums. It really can, but you just have to hone in to what your spouse is saying without saying it, right? Number 2 is learn to speak their love language. For me, I had to realize, because I wasn't a physical touch type person, right? And I had to learn that, because I thought when Gil and I first got married, I felt that he was smothering me because he always wanted to be under me, right? And I was like, why is he always under me, right? And I realized that I was pushing him away because that was not my love language, right? And so I had to realize that that is his love language, and I need to learn to speak that, right? So we have a lot of physical touch. We have a lot of quality time, right? And that's the reason why we go on a date every single Friday, because he needs that quality time. Where for me, I need for him to tell me that I'm doing amazing things and that I'm touching lives and that he's proud of me and all of these different kind of things. But I also need like these little gifts and stuff like that just to keep me going, because those are my dominant love language. Not that every time he sees me I need him to tell me something, but those are my dominant things, right? Can I flow in acts of service? Absolutely. Can I flow in physical touch? Can I flow in quality time? Absolutely. But my two main ones are those are the dominant ones. So when you learn to start speaking their language, and when you do acts of service, because I'm going to go through the ones that, are the five ones. Acts of service is really just doing service to your spouse, whatever that looks like. It could be cooking for them. It could be doing their laundry. It could be serving them their food, while they're sitting at the table. Whatever acts of service is for, if that's their love language, if that's what brings them joy, that is an act of service. Quality time could be just you and him, whatever that looks like for you guys. Some people are like, oh, you got to go to the movies, that's quality time. Oh, you got to be doing this. No, you and him define what quality time is, and those are conversations that you have with your spouse. What does quality time look like? Since that is what brings you joy, tell me what quality time looks. Does it look like me sitting down watching a basketball game that I have no clue about, or whatever that looks like, right? For Gail, it's just really quiet, just nice music, and just nothing going on, no TV, nothing, just being quiet and just enjoying one another, not having sex, just enjoying one another. That's quality time for him, right? Because it's shutting out the world and it's just he and I having great conversation, laughing, we dance, whatever that looks like, that's quality time for him. Words of affirmation, right? And it's just what it means. Building your spouse up, right? Building your spouse up, telling them that they do a great job. They're a great father. They're a great provider, whatever that looks like. If they're words of affirmation, if they need that, and I whether that's their love language or not, every man and every woman needs to know that they're doing a great job. They need to know that you care about them. They're special. They look beautiful. A woman needs to know she looks beautiful. He needs to know he looks handsome. They smell good. Whatever those words of affirmation to build your spouse up, give it to them. And even if that's not their dominant love language, that is one that everybody needs in a marriage. I don't care who you are, right? Receiving of gifts, right? And people think that receiving of gifts needs to be something huge. It does not, right? Like I told you the other day, I hadn't been driving because, I've been recovering or whatever. And thank you guys for all your love and affirmations and prayers or whatever. I am doing much better, and I appreciate that. But for Gail knows that my I love gifts. And so the other day I told him, I said, I'm going to drive myself to wherever I was going. And when I got in my car, there was he knows I love M&Ms with peanuts. And there was a thing of M&Ms with peanuts sitting on my seat. And it just was a note that said, I'm nuts about you. That made my day, right? That literally made my day more than anything, diamond ring or something like that, just to know that he was thinking about me enough to do that, right? So if you have a spouse that likes gifts, it doesn't have to be anything huge. It could just be giving of yourself. It could be something as simple as a candy bar or whatever that is. So don't always think that you have to be so grand when it says receiving of gifts. And then physical touch. Physical touch does not always mean sex. It could be a massage. It could be holding of hands. It could be a kiss. It could be, whatever that your spouse needs. And that's the reason why conversations need to be had, right? So you can be meeting their needs. And basically the 5 love languages is really understanding what your spouse's, needs, wants, and desires are. That's really what it is, right? And then number three is learn to compromise, right? Learn to compromise. Learn that you will not always get all of what you need when it comes to your love language, and your spouse is not either. But the thing is when you're in a relationship, it's a give and take thing, right? And sometimes you feel like you're the only one giving and they're not reciprocating. I say do it anyway, because whenever you sow something, even if he doesn't return it, your Father in heaven sees that you've been sowing, and you will not be sowing and not reap. Because I remember when Gil and I was in such a bad spot, and God was like, just shower him with love, sow into him. Whatever he needs, wants, and desire, Gail, you do it. And I got frustrated. I was like, oh no. I said, the more I'm sowing into him, the more he's acting a fool, the more he's pushing me away, the more whatever. And God said, I got you. Just continue to do it. And I continue to do it, not happy all the time. Trust and believe that. But I continue to do it. And I'm telling you, things begin to turn around. And Gil's thing was, I just wanted to see if you was just doing it for a few minutes or a few days or maybe a few weeks, just to get us back together. And then you was going to just go back to your old self. But see, God already knew that was his thought process. So I pray that these tips have helped you. I pray that the young lady in Dallas will see this, which I'm sure she is, because I told her I was going to answer her question tonight. But you can have an amazing marriage with you guys speaking two different love languages. You just got to work at it and figure it out. And again, if your spouse refuses to take the 5 love language test, because some men do, right? Just begin to hone in and listen and dig and ask questions and figure out what their love language is and begin to feed that. Because you can have an amazing marriage with you guys having 2 different love languages, because Gil and I have way different love languages, but we've managed to make it work. And so again, if you need me, you know how to get in contact with me. You can hit me up on any of my social media. You can go to my website and schedule a free discovery call. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm just trying to help you and help you in your marriage. I love you guys to pieces. Actually, I will be on here on Thursday with Evening Tea with my girls. We're going to be dishing about all the stuff and just having a great time. So I hope you guys will be able to join us at 8 p.m. here on Facebook on Thursday. I love you guys to pieces. Have an amazing, amazing night.